Welcome. Now let's make some fast bread. I'll talk more about this in a few minutes, but for now, let's just get the basic bread dough going. I'm going to start off with 1 room temperature egg, and then in between I'm going to wash my hands because those are farm fresh eggs. We want to make sure my hands are clean. 1 cup of very hot tap water, and I do mean very hot. You can see it steaming a little bit here too. We're going to use about 1/4 cup of sugar. I happen to have that handy on the counter, but you can use honey or any other sweetener you prefer. I always buy my yeast in bulk, and that's what you see in this jar. We are going to use 1 full tablespoon of yeast, and that is the magic here, the secret to making this fast loaf of bread that takes less than 2 hours from start to table. Most bread dough recipes call for about 2½ teaspoons, but we're going to use this full tablespoon. And then about 1 teaspoon of salt. Any salt you prefer will do. I'm going to add a couple extra things. That is 1 tablespoon of ground flax seeds. I always add extra flax seeds to the bread just because it makes it healthy. I am using bread flour, 3 cups, even cups, but you don't have to stress too much about it. That goes in. Again, like I said, I am using bread flour, but one of the recipes I do in this video is also with whole wheat. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of some kind of fat. I'm using extra virgin olive oil. You can use butter, any other thing you want, coconut oil, avocado oil, whatever you prefer. And don't be concerned about my speed. At the end of the video, this recipe is typed out for you. We're going to load all of that right into the bread machine. We're going to put it on the dough cycle and let it run through the dough cycle. It'll take about 1 hour to mix it, knead it, and then let it rise for just about 1 hour. I'm going to do 2 kinds of bread in this video. This is the basic recipe. Both kinds of bread are made with the basic recipe. So after that rose for about 1 hour, I took it out, shaped it on my countertop, and let it rise for about 10 more minutes in my warm oven on proof. You can do it on your countertop. And that is my first loaf of bread, essentially divided in 2. I've made 2 smaller Italian breads. I am going to score this, and then it will go into the oven, a cold oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. You're going to start off cold and then bake it off. It's really that simple, this recipe. It's just about foolproof. Now you see me scoring it. Just like sourdough or any other kind of bread, you're going to want to score this. It will continue to rise as the oven heats up, and that's how you get your second rise in without having to do another hour or 40 minutes of bulk fermenting yet again. So I do the extra 10-15 minute rise, but you don't have to. You could make this straight up 1.5 hours from the machine to the table and be ready to eat it. And you can see here it does continue to rise in the oven during that baking period because the oven's cold when you start. And that is how much rise I got out of those 2 little half. They're basically, each one of these is a half of a loaf of bread recipe. And you can see that that makes a good 2 loaves of bread. It's because it's risen so well. It's super soft. It lasts really well on the counter, and it will stay soft even overnight. Now this is my second bread that I'm making today. Essentially, I'm going to make some quick hamburger buns so that we can have them for supper. I only need 4 of the buns, and then I'll have a little bit left over for 2 smaller rolls for something else. So this is whole wheat. That's why the color is different. I did the exact same recipe that you saw me do with the first 2 loaves of bread, but I just used whole wheat flour instead of white bread flour. And it's not bread flour, it's just straight up all-purpose whole wheat flour. So I'm going to actually shape this and then cut it into kind of a ciabatta style bread. I'm not going to spend a lot of time shaping this bread, just rolling it into a log, cutting it into pieces and patting it down and putting it on my baking tray. That's the same baking paper I used for the last 2 loaves of bread too. So hate to waste it if I can use it twice. I usually do more than one kind of bread at a time. And I do bake just about every other day. So I'm going to cut this into 4 big rolls, and really big, kind of flat. I want them for hamburger buns, so I'm going to flatten them right out. And then I will let them rise again for 10 minutes or so in my oven on proof. You could do it on the countertop, or you could skip the second ride altogether. You don't have to rise them again. You can really just shape and bake with this recipe. And again, when they're ready, they will go into a cold oven. I will set it at 350 degrees, set my timer for 30 minutes, and I will just slide the bread in and off it goes to the races. No preheating the oven, no big concern. Sometimes, depending on how thick my rolls are, I might have to bake it a little less time or a little more time. I just kind of pay attention to that. But as you can see, I just cut them. I'm not rolling them in a ball or shaping them or providing tension. I just flatten them out a little bit. Again, I'm looking for a couple of burger buns for supper, but I don't need many. All right, and again, as I said, at the end of this little video, you will find the basic bread recipe to do fast bread. It's just so delicious, so soft, and it will even stay soft. You know, there's not that day-old bread feeling. I make this bread today. I leave it out to cool. Once it's cool, I immediately package it up in a plastic bag, throw it in my bread bucket, and I have fresh, soft, squishy, tastes like I just made it bread for 2 or 3 days. It never seems to get dry. Now I'm going to cut one of those larger loaves just so you can see how soft and squishy this is. This is the one that's made with just regular white bread flour with a little bit of flax in it. I have a little air pocket there. That's because I just rolled it and shaped it pretty quickly. But it's so soft. It's just dreamy soft. And it tastes delicious. And right now I can't tell you how wonderful my house smells after baking 2 loaves of bread in a pile of little hamburger buns. As you can see, I could almost squish that right into a ball. It's so soft. And it really does taste really delicious. So these are those hamburger buns coming out of the oven. I put a little bit of an egg wash on them just to give them a little bit of a gloss, make them brown a little bit better, and improve their flavor. So I made 2 batches of bread in the time it takes to make one, and now I'm ready for the next couple of days, and it is so good. Let me know in the comments if you try this and how this works out for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below. There's your recipe. That's all there is to it. I keep it on my refrigerator so I can use it. I use it just about every day. I prefer it actually to sourdough bread. My family does. Anyway, there's the basic how-to directions too. And if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.